Today we're going to be looking at the top 5 shift functions. These are shortcuts that use this little shift button down here on the right hand side of the MODX. It is also found on the Montage. And if you ever wondered what that was for,
before we go any further, let me just remind you, if you haven't done so already, jam that subscribe button and get on board with the Synths and Guitars channel. We got tips, tricks, and product reviews coming your way, so get on board, and thanks. All your support is greatly appreciated.
We're going to go through 5 of what I think are the most time-saving and best uses for this function, shift. It's in a combination of shift and some other keys here or over here too. They work with a lot. One thing before we get started, you can find this in utility, other info. And you scroll down, there's a 2-page list of these shift functions. And you can see all of them here. I've gone through all of them, and I think some are more useful than others. I picked out 5 that I feel are super, super useful and I use in my daily work with this machine. The shift functions have increased as Yamaha have done their updates. So it used to be 1 page, and now it's coming up to 2. So there's a lot of them in here, and there's a lot to sort through. But here are 5 that I think will really save you some time when you're working on this machine. Let's get started. Using it to write your performance names, stores new performance, shift, not, brass, for instance. So, using the shift to change uppercase to the lowercase. Okay? Next. When you're in a setting and you need to shift up half a step, semitone, shift octave up. You just transposed a semitone. So now we have, what was I doing? Up another half step. And same works for shift down, so I can come back to 1 semitone up. And you go down to original. Now, this is really handy when you're working with a vocalist and they need to have something that you know how to play in 1 key, and all of a sudden they need it to be up half step, whatever, how many steps up or another key. Very easily get into that by just, boom, hitting those semitones up or down from where you are. You hit shift and the octave button, and up or down. And there's another one in there that's listed as shift, and then you press octave up and down at the same time, and it gets you back to 0. So even if you just press octave by itself, that takes you up 1 octave, 2 octaves, 3 octaves. If you want to get back to your normal, you just press them together. I don't know if you know that. It takes you back to your original key. You can it's listed in the shift functions as you can hit shift, octave plus and minus together gets you back to 0, but you don't need shift for that. So there you go. Half step up, half step down, and then getting back to where you were. Very handy for raising the pitch of your keyboard. The next one is when you're in live set. Some of these have a ton of pages. This one, the Montage Expanded, has a lot of pages, and you can go and, like this. But there's actually a quicker way. You hit shift and deck no or ink yes to take you down, and it's like a page down function. So shift ink yes will take you through the pages, increasing the number, and then to go back down. This is really handy if you got one with a lot of pages. You get through it, you do your live set, you find, look at all this. So I got the best of MODX. Well, let's see what else we got in here. Scroll through really quickly. I think this is a much quicker way to go through. Shift and ink yes or deck no to page up and page down until you find the one you want. And then you can just press it with your finger. So that was in the live set function. This one I find super, super handy. So when you're in your FM parts here, you want to have the operators a lot of times they'll have the same envelopes. Not necessarily in this particular algorithm, but ones where they're stacked, say. So let's look at number 2. And I want to get operator 1. So very simply, I'm just going to set up a little envelope here where the attack is increased, and then decay 1 comes over, and then decay 1, say, comes down, decay 2, something like that. And there's no sound because we need to turn on the other operators, but one thing I want to do is turn up some feedback and get some bite to this thing. Now, you're going to want to have your other operators underneath to match that. But now you got to go, and this is a very simple one, but you're going to want to go and say have operator 2, 3, and 4, since you have this little column here. You're going to want them to match. So the way you do that is Shift Edit, and then it says copy operator 1 to operator 2. And now that envelope is now transferred to 2. You can do that now. I'm going to do 2 to 3. Shift Edit. I'm going to go 2 to 3. So I'm going to change this. Operator 2 is going to 3. Your envelope has now been copied onto operator 3. Now here's 4. And let's do the same thing. Shift Edit. And let's put this one into 4. And now these I'm going to leave alone. But now you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 have the same envelopes. And then now you can adjust from here. But many times you're going to want to have these operators have the same envelopes as they come through. Shift Edit. We'll take 4 into 5. That same Shift Edit, if you notice, it also works for parts. And so if you're in your performance, will cancel that. If you're in your performance home and you click that, you can also hit copy here. But say you're just here, Shift Edit, and it asks you if you want to put your part. Yeah, I want to put that, I want to double my parts. And I do it again. I want to double the part again to 3. So now I just triple the part. So a good way to very quickly push it over. You can also use this in your motion sequence. So let's try this. Motion sequence select. It's going to take motion sequence 1 and put it into 2. And then finally, the number 1 function that I've found for this is, say you've just done all this work and this is the sound that you've worked all day on. It is an awesome sound. Well, the first thing you want to do is store it, of course. Overwrite current, store. But now to find it again, you're going to want it in your live set. Shift live set. It calls up your live set and it opens up the next open spot. And it allows you to just tap it and it sends it there. So let's look at that again. See, I worked on this one. My demo. I have a demo FX. And this is one that I worked on all day, say, and I want to put that in. Shift live set. See how it opens up that box? It tells you that one's open. Tap it, voila. You now have it in your live set ready to go. And you can move it around, do whatever you need from there, but it's there and you won't have to go searching for it when you want it. I hope you've enjoyed this quick tour of the shift functions and the 5 that I think will help anyone save time when working on this machine and make it a little more convenient. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.